Welcome. I'm Halcyon, this is Hug Nation, and today I wanted to get started with a viewer mail. I got a great question from the Netherlands, from Charlotte, and she asked, I'm wondering if I could get your thoughts on, for lack of a better word, the concept of vanity. Or more specifically, do you feel that self-expression via outward appearance can hinder acceptance of the true physical self? I ask this because I've been struggling to marry the idea of love yourself as you are with express yourself. On the one hand, I feel I should be just me, with my natural hair color, complexion, and practical clothing with no aesthetic value because those are superficial, and I should place no importance on my looks. To me, that seems the epitome of self-acceptance. While at the same time, I prefer to dye my hair, adorn myself with jewelry, and work beautiful colors and prints. As you are someone with a preference for a certain aesthetic, I was wondering if these questions were ever an issue for you. Lots of love from the Netherlands, Charlotte. Well, what a fantastic question! Thank you, Charlotte. What a great question. And it is something that I have given a lot of thought to. Back in my beginning of Flamboyant Expression days, I used to have long hair that I would wear in crazy braids, and there was a bunch of kind of benefits for me in doing that. The first one was just that it was kind of an avenue for me to explore the role of artist. And through Burning Man and through a supportive community, I realized that the definition of an artist is way more than someone who paints on a canvas or creates something that would be displayed in an art gallery or a museum. Being an artist can mean any sort of expression. And so as I shifted into an awareness or stepped into the role of artist, the body is the core canvas of your life. And so it made total sense, I believe, to use your body in your attire, in your hair, in your, if you want to, in your skin, in your piercings, as a platform for your expression. My original business cards used to say lifestyle artist because I believe that the way that you are and the way that you look and the way that you dress, you are a walking canvas. And I think that there's nothing shallow about that. If you are doing it as an expression, if you're doing it as an artist, if you are adopting trends, if you are, putting on the outfits that you think express a subculture, if you're trying to be something externally in, and that's what guides your appearance and your flamboyant look, yeah, that's, I think, problematic and contrary to the path of spiritual truth. But if, on the other hand, it is a way for you to express, a way for you to be who you are, then I'm all for it. In fact, that process of listening to my desires of how I want to look and be, and then acting that way in the world, while sure, it made me into an object of ridicule for some, it did something significant to my personal psyche. And that is, it allowed me to very dramatically be original, be one of a kind. I created a category of one where I was just it. I mean, there's tons of trite bumper stickers and things you say to kids, and the wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things, but you're the only one, right? And so that idea of you're the only one and you're just unique and you don't have to compete with other people and you just have to be the best you, that is an awesome message. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's something that's tough. It's a practice to constantly let go of comparing yourself. But with a dramatic self-expression, when I had this look that was purely me, then there's just one Halcyon, and I can be Halcyon as best as I can, and I win. Every time I'm being truthful and honoring myself, that expression is awesome. You can't judge that kind of art because it is truthful. You can say, I like it, I don't like it, but you can't say it's good or bad. So that process of expressing and being bold and kind of being like a walking conversation piece, it worked for me for a long time. And then I got into a relationship with a yoga teacher who is much more subdued in her demeanor and her appearance. And I started practicing yoga, and I started questioning my need to be so visually out there. And I started asking the same kind of questions that you're asking in your letter of like, is this contrary to a spiritual path to be so visibly flamboyant? Is that shallow? And so I cut my hair off. I had this long mane of curly hair. I cut it off. I mean, to be fair, I did cut it off on a daytime TV show. Mario Lopez actually, and cut my hair. So, it wasn't total humility and humbleness for me, but even so, I got my hair cut off, gave it to Locks of Love, and then tried to be in the world as a normal person, or as having the appearance of a normal person. And I was miserable. I was miserable, and then I was angry at myself for being miserable. And I was like, do I have this need for attention that's so bad that I can't enjoy life unless, I'm wearing bold colors and having people double take when they see me when I walk into a room? Like, man, maybe I am a shallow person. And I sat with it for a while, and I dealt with these feelings, and I finally realized, that there's a bunch of reasons why I liked that feeling. One was that it did help me feel like my true self. And looking normal didn't mean that I was being authentically human. It meant that I was playing a role. That was the costume of normal that I was trying to wear. So it was out of integrity. I also realized that there's something that happens to the room when I was dressed boldly. There was something that happens in the environment, in the vibe. When I was at a party and I was dressed all crazy, the whole room, the crazy meter goes up. The bar of what is weird goes up. And it just felt more freeing. And I liked the way that it felt to be the jester, to be the joker, to bring in levity and weirdness and artistic expression just by walking into a room. So I only had that short brown hair for a chapter, and then I dyed my hair pink. And it has been pink for the last 12, 13 years. And I feel comfortable in that place. I feel like me. In this very unnatural expression, I feel very natural. And over the years, I've really built up a brand and a business and all sorts of things that started to kind of layer onto this pink. My old company that I ran was called Royal Pink Productions, and I would work trade shows and things, and everybody knew the guy in pink, and so many things that I've done have been revolving around pink that I started, after 6-7 years, I started to feel like I'm trapped. I like being pink, but now I have to be pink. And this shift happened where I started to feel like, wait a minute, is the cart pulling the horse now? Who's in control? And so every once in a while, I started doing something where I would shave my head. I would shave off all the pink and go brown to kind of reclaim my identity, to kind of free myself from the need to be pink. And that has been an excellent practice for me as well. That kind of, like I can quit anytime I want to. Okay, yes, I don't have to be pink. I choose to be pink. It is my expression. It is my art. It is an artistic choice that I make over and over again as how I want to be in the world. That being said, I still occasionally struggle, or I used to struggle with that same question you're asking. Like, really, can I be a humble servant of Source? Can I be a spiritual seeker and dress this way and act this way and love the microphone and like to get up on stage? I mean, that seems so contrary to the idea I have of a humble monk or a spiritual seeker. And I went into a meditation retreat one time with that question on my mind. And I had a powerful download. I had this idea of what spiritual seeker was supposed to look like, of what everything was supposed to look like, and I felt like maybe I don't fit into that. And the download I got was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're not in charge of the cosmic painting. There is another force. There is another energy. There is another creative, divine intelligence that is in charge of the cosmic tapestry, of the cosmic masterpiece. Your job is to be the paint. God needs every color for this masterpiece. He needs subdued colors, needs vibrant colors, needs bright pink. Your job is not to decide what color the divine needs. Your job is to be the paint. And so I had this, right, okay, yes. I can be a pink-haired, vibrant guy who likes to jump up on stage and tell stories. Not because it is in contrast to my spiritual practice, but it is my spiritual practice. It is my truth. It is divine flowing through me. It is the way the paintbrush moves me as I surrender to being the paint, to being bright pink. So Charlotte, great question, but I would urge you to follow your truth, to be art in the world, as long as you are expressing from your heart, expressing from your truth, because you are a masterpiece. At the same time, you're the paint. Be the paint. Thank you. I love you. And now part 2, where we have a little dialogue with the chat room and keep discussing this oh so interesting topic. Katie's asking, how does one not let society drive the paint within? That is the very definition, I think, of a spiritual practice, is that working to keep tuning in your attention and your voice to your insides and being aware of when your thoughts, desires, fears are being shaped by the scripts on the outside. I mean, it's a constant battle. It's why you have to practice. It's why, for me, I check in here once a week and listen to lectures every morning and do other things. That some people go to yoga classes, or you have to find some way to answer the voice of society with a louder or a truer voice, or at least practice finding ways to tune out that voice. Because yeah, society is always telling you what you should be doing. It's got a role for you. There's got a script for what you're supposed to play. It's got all sorts of plans for you to consume. That's what you have to do every day, is be aware. And it's tough because I saw a quote that was going around and people were posting it. Said, competence isn't knowing that they'll like you. Confidence is being who you are, or is not caring if they like you. Or confidence is being yourself and not caring if they like you. All right, I'm not sure exactly what the quote was. But the idea was that, yes, if you are true to yourself, you are going to encounter haters. You are going to have people that mock you, especially if you do anything dramatic. Especially if you, step outside scripts that people have seen, because people have to adjust their worldview. They have to either say, wow, I hadn't thought about that. I guess my concept of reality needs to be expanded. I will do the work as a conscious seeker and expand my reality. Or, more likely, they'll be like, look at them. And then you got to go, oh, that feels terrible. But not as terrible as it would feel if I was living a lie and trying to be something that I'm not. Let me also acknowledge that it is easy to say these words. And I don't say these things coming from a place of, I have it figured out. I now laugh at the voice of culture telling me what I should do. Ha 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 ha! I am evolved and I care not what you think of me. Sometimes I'm like that. But I slip up all the time. At LIB, I found myself slipping into states of insecurity and wondering, oh, maybe I shouldn't wear this. I find myself noticing and being aware of things that I never think about. I'm confident in being the category of one. I'm me and I do it awesome. But if I lose my footing, if I forget that and I think of myself, oh, I have this, what role am I supposed to play? Am I playing it right? All of a sudden I'm off center, and then even the littlest eye roll or comparison to somebody else can be crippling. And that is also to say, let me be very also clarify that that isn't to say that being more vibrant is any more artistic than not so. It's about being honest and being truthful and being in integrity, not about, being the loudest, brightest, most in your face artist. That doesn't mean you're the best artist or the most even authentic artist. And so what your truth is what you need to express yourself as. And if that looks like an Abercrombie and Finch model, Finch? I don't even know. Fitch? I don't know. Then fine, as long as you feel comfortable in it. Jeannie says, what do you do if your peer group tells you to sit down and shut because you stand up for yourself and others' right is harshing their space when they shout you down by maligning your character? Whoa. Well, Jeannie, that sounds like that doesn't sound like your peer group. That sounds like a non-supportive community that is dragging you down. I mean, I don't know. I mean, sometimes you have people in your life, like family, that you have to hang out with. But if you've got people that you hang out with that are telling you that who you are isn't right, how you express yourself isn't okay, that doesn't sound like a safe place to be yourself. And I think you need to seek a more supportive community. Jeannie's saying, what if I don't want to stop burning? So you have a Burning Man community that is telling you to tone it down and quiet up? I think you need to look for another camp, or maybe challenge those burners and saying like, whoa, bro, radical inclusion. Or maybe you need to check in and say, what is it about myself that they are complaining about? Perhaps my expressions are imposing on other people's ability to enjoy themselves. If my desire to express myself is to play super loud trance music at 6 a.m, and the people around me are like, dude, knock it off, stop doing that. They have a valid point. Hopefully that's helpful in some way.